So you're me in 30 years.
Sun staring into your eyes. It's too strange.
Your face looks backwards. Do you know what's gonna happen? You done all this already? As me?
I don't want to talk about time travel.
We both know how this has to go down. So why don't you do what old men do and die?
Why don't you just take your little gun out between your legs and do it, boy?
Looping, loopa, loopa, loopa. I don't even know how to open this up with a joke.
Yeah, I don't think we should open it up with a joke. I think we should just say, like, go see Looper.
Yes, that's how. We're not opening with a joke. We're going to open up with go see Looper. Just, oh my god. This has definitely turned out to be one of the biggest surprises for me this year. I don't know about you.
Oh, definitely. I was honestly not expecting what I witnessed today.
Well, what I like that this movie does about time travel is that it does it in a jokey way. I mean, there's so many jokes in this movie that we'll go over, but first of all, we're talking today, people, about Looper, which is the third film from Rian Johnson, who's done kind of a cult hit now, The Brothers Bloom and Brick.
Brick was awesome.
Yeah, Brick is an awesome movie.
If you liked Brick, you'll like this.
Yeah. So the story here has Joseph Gordon-Levitt as
John.
Yes, John is his name, and he's what's known as a looper, someone who's used by the mob in the future to kill people because in the future the tracking of murders is so goddamn good that they have to illegally send people back in time for these people to kill.
And in the present, where John disposes of these people sent back in time travel hasn't been invented yet. But in the future, in a couple decades in the future, it is. And that's how they send them back in time, bound and with a brown coat over them,
Yep.
and their head bagged. And he disposes of them, and they just dispose of them in an abandoned warehouse where they never have existed. So he's killing someone that hasn't existed yet, and you can't track that.
Right. So basically, what makes this movie interesting is that when you are a looper, there comes a point where 30 years down the line, you yourself are going to be sent back to what's known as close the loop. So you end up pretty much killing yourself.
And you don't know that's going to happen because
You don't know when it's going to
your
happen.
head is bagged, and you just shoot the person that comes instinctively.
Right.
And if it's yourself, you get like a bunch of money, and you are retired from looping, and you live the next 30 years of your life in complete luxury. And then the mob will pick you up. And
Unless
send
if you
back
were
in
a
time.
drug addict.
Yeah, that is very true. There's a lot of drugs in this movie. It's called dropping. And
Yes. But yeah, there's that. The one thing that I do like about this movie, this is a pure science fiction movie. There's no beating around the bush. It's a science fiction movie about time travel and other sci-fi tropes.
it is
But-
very sci-fi.
Yeah, but what I do like is that this is one of the first time travel movies I've seen that's able to handle a bunch of different types of different genres, such as the sci-fi element, the drama element, the kind of horror element, and how gory it is,
And action.
the action element, and it is very funny at times.
Also, one of the only time travel movies I have recently seen, or ever seen for that matter, that I've actually used time travel in an in a believable way. It was the most believable use of time travel in a movie I have ever witnessed.
Well, I think the key to that is that every time they try to go deep into time travel, they're just like, no, that's not the point. Let's move on. There's multiple points where characters in this movie, they try to go into the depths of time travel. They're like, look, just don't talk about that shit. Let's just move on.
Yeah, they get around the whole paradox issue by not even explaining how the time travel works. Or
Yeah,
anything like
and
that. So you don't have to. You're not thinking like, oh, this is a paradox right here, because they just don't even bother trying to explain it.
It definitely works in the movie's favor, that's for sure.
It definitely does.
One of the things, this has been heavily promoted because this has rising star Joseph Gordon-Levitt in it, who's starting to become a bit of a box office name.
And then there's Bruce Willis.
And then there's Bruce Willis, who in this movie makes it known that he's an action star, and he was in Die Hard in the first 5 minutes that he's on screen.
This was one of the best acting I've ever seen Bruce Willis perform in a movie.
Well, I just love the fact that he makes it known that Joseph Gordon-Levitt, because he's Joseph Gordon-Levitt's older self, he makes it known to him, like, what, you're younger than me? Bitch, I was in Die Hard! And he knocks his socks off.
The dynamics between, like, the future John and present John are really well done.
It's hysterical.
It is really cool.
It's hysterical when they sit down just for a nice holy meal, and Bruce Willis is just talking shit on him the whole time.
Yeah. It is... I don't...
I mean, I guess the big thing that I pulled away from this is, I keep bringing up the humor. There are so many, like, funny moments. Johnson does a very clever way to not take you out of the movie, but add those little touches that are subtle, but extremely funny. Because, a bit of a spoiler here, there's when you do not kill your looper, the Mafia then comes after you. So there's a point where there's a shootout in the diner, and the Mafia and Joseph Gordon-Levitt are trying to kill Bruce Willis, and he gets away. And they're all just like, oh, damn it, he got away. And the Mafia people are like, wait, so now we have to kill you. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt just books it.
Shit.
It was like a goddamn Looney Tune cartoon where it's just like, oh, he got away. Oh, shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of, like, dynamics that, like, you don't see in a science fiction movie. And usually, like, if you do see it in a science fiction movie, it's terrible, and it just brings you out of the sci-fi experience. This one completely incorporates it and just makes it amazing.
Yeah. We've kind of touched upon this a little bit, but the cast here, there is no one in this movie that is a sour spot in the movie. I mean, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, once again, proves why he's an up-and-coming, like, one of the great up-and-coming actors with an amazing performance. Bruce Willis acts more in this than I've ever seen that man act in a movie. I mean, he does an amazing job with his, just with the tension that he deals with everything that he's lost in the future. And you really do see it, like, with just his mannerisms and his faces, his eyes, his facial muscles. I mean, it's incredible. It's the most I've seen Bruce Willis act in a long time. I mean, everyone else in the movie, too. I mean, is there anyone else you want to bring up? I know...
Jeff Daniels.
Yeah, Jeff Daniels, who's kind of the
present mob boss.
And he's one of those villains that, like, look, we both know how this is gonna go. I won't kill you if you give me what I want. So you're gonna get, okay, we're good. You know what? Go have a drink, have some sex, have a want to time.
Yeah, I'll give you some money. I'll pay for it all.
I'll pay for your hookers. I'll pay for your hookers. It's okay. You want to go to France? Fuck that. I'm from the future. Go to China. They're going to take us over anyways.
But I want to go to France. No, I'm from the future. You want to go to China. That was one of the really
awesome. It really, he does a great job. He doesn't overplay his villain status, and even he's not the primary villain of the movie, per se.
The primary villain, like...
We don't want to go into spoilers because there really is no villain in this movie.
Exactly.
Which is one of the big things about it that is kind of shocking. It's more of a character piece in the study of human life itself.
Yeah, there isn't like, oh, we're gonna have to go track down this guy and kill him to make everything right.
Yeah,
because that just doesn't happen.
Yeah, and another person in this cast, Emily Blunt, acting the most American you will ever see Emily Blunt act.
Yes.
You cannot even tell this girl is British in this movie.
She is utterly Americanized.
Yeah,
that's the only.
They
word
give her like
use.
it's like the casting call looked at her as like, look, you're a good actress, but we need to American you up. But no. Okay, let's give you blonde hair. Let's give you a gun. Let's put you on a farm. Ta-da!
It is. She does a fantastic job with what she does.
Yeah, and we've been talking about the good acting. There's a great acting moment with Joseph Gordon-Levitt when Emily Blunt comes on to him, and they're at odds the whole time. Like they just hate each other the whole movie. And then this moment pops up. You can just see Joseph Gordon-Levitt's face after the first case. He's like, "What the fuck?" Ooh.
She's just like sitting in bed and just like you can tell that she wants
You know what's coming. You know a good dickin's coming.
She wants it, and he gives it.
Yeah. Even he's hesitant at first. He's like, "What the fuck?" Okay.
What's wrong? There's no other reason why you're calling me up here. Oh, hello.
But I mean, there's a lot to like about this movie. I was interested. Who was his good friend that was pissing his pants every time he was on screen? Who's his friend that was pissing his pants every time on screen? Yeah, who's the actor?
Oh, he was.
I didn't recognize him from anything.
Paul Dano.
Yeah, Paul Dano plays probably one of the biggest pussies you will ever see on the screen this year, ladies and gentlemen. But even
Wait, are you talking about his friend that in the beginning stuff happens to?
Yes.
You're talking about him, okay.
Yes.
Not the guy.
Not the dumbass.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but they're two characters that, even they work in this movie. There's a ginormous pussy, and then there's just a dumbass.
Mm-hmm.
But they both work within the movie. It's really hard. Like, I've been trying to be fair in most of these reviews with, bad stuff, but I really can't think of anything that was bad with this.
Usually, when I go see a time travel thing, anything that's dealing with time travel, I nitpick it to the point where I almost can't enjoy it because time travel for me, if a movie doesn't do it right, it just takes me out of the moment and I just can't enjoy it. This, the time travel in it, I can't express enough how much the time travel makes sense.
I mean, even at the point where I usually draw criticism, which for me most of the time is with endings of the film, the ending for this I think is fantastic.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, it is really, really hard for me to actually find something that's wrong with this.
I was on the edge of my seat the entire movie. There was not a moment I did not enjoy any part of the movie.
Exactly, and I think one of the keys is when you find out the big reveal, it's not one of those reveals that happens in the last 5 minutes. It happens in the last 20 minutes, but that's not the big reveal in the movie. There's something else that comes in.
And it's like the reveal, it's like
you actually don't see it coming.
And it's not like one of those things where they try and make it not seem as coming. It's like, oh, big major twist. It makes it makes sense
within the context of the film.
Exactly. It's not something they just pull out of their asses to try and make a surprise ending for people to oh, this is a twist ending, kind of like Sixth Sense. It's not something that Sixth Sense was a bad example, but it's not something that they're pulling out of their asses to try and make.
M. Night Shyamalan, go watch this and learn, you dumbass.
Yes, exactly. This is how you do a big reveal and have it be an awesome twist.
You got it right twice. But I pretty much have nothing else to say about this. I mean, it was shot beautifully.
The cinematography was amazing.
Yeah. It was shot beautifully, acted beautifully. Story-wise, it was all there.
For a science fiction movie that's set just a couple decades in the future, everything in it makes sense. All the future technology makes sense, and everything is just extremely
They don't go ballistic with it. Yeah.
It's very realistic for being a science fiction movie.
Yeah, it's a very... I mean, I'm just kind of sitting here still blown away by it, and I would have to, this is my first time I'm doing this, and I don't know how to react to it, but it's a perfect for me.
Yeah, I totally agree. Perfect. Go see this movie.
You
won't regret it.
There's I can't think of anything wrong with it, really.
There isn't any, I can't even think of a plot hole. But time travel, you can always think of a plot hole that something happens.
Yeah.
I can't think of one.
Yeah, I can maybe think of one, but it's really not that big of one.
And it's a stretch, and it won't change anything, even if it did have a hole.
Right.
We don't want to say what that is because we don't want to spoil it for you because you're going to want to go see this movie.
But we will say this: if a lot of people go see this movie, ladies and gentlemen, we have the ending to Inception Round 2.
Indeed, we did.
It is. You sit there in the theater and we were sitting there and everyone's like, I wonder what's gonna happen. I wonder what the actual question is. And I was like, oh, fucking shit.
Yep.
I'm gonna save your life.
My life! Your life!
I know you're not lying when you say you're gonna kill this guy.
This is like a nightmare. I'm sorry.